What's going on, guys and gals? ZfreeZone here, and we're back to where this channel started. This good old gutter build behind me is right there. This is how the actual channel started. If you come over here, we are sitting right here in 9.8D. So if you want to come see the gutter build, if you hover over it, I am using the controller mode, so it's not working for me, but there you go, the gutter right there. This is how the channel started. We started in doing this build, and a lot of people have asked me to do it a little bit slower. So for you guys, because we've hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do this build a lot slower. We're going to do it in a 3 or 4 part series of videos. Don't hold me for that, because that might change. But if you guys just want to see the end result, stick around, make sure you hit that subscribe button. In a couple of weeks, you'll see the end result of this, a nice walkthrough video. And you guys can come back here if you guys want to build it. We are on the Rhino today in the lands of the Exiles. If we come over here, we're going to come through this gutter and we're going to show you guys what we are working with. Now this is definitely my favorite PvP build. Definitely do this with a team of people. This is going to take a lot of resources. In fact, it takes like 3,000 to 4,000 fence foundations just on each entrance. So you're looking up towards 8,000 fence foundations on both sides. So it's quite a lot of work. But as you can see here, there is gaps on the side. So stacking this out just at the start here is definitely the way to go. And then there's plenty of room in the middle for a mat room, and we're also going to make a little square up the top where it's hard for people to attack with a god bubble, and we'll probably even put some heat stroke in here for you as well with a nice killing floor. But in that all said, we're going to set up this lake. We were just coming over to a nicely fresh server, and this place is open. And we're actually going to use sandstone to get this thing started. Alright, so we're going to leave this guy outside because I don't want him annoying us. And also we're going to go back to our creative menu. I keep stressing to you guys, if you haven't got this menu, please pick it up, especially on PC. It is a mod. We're going to grab the fence foundation. It's called creative. Yeah, it's just creative, and you'll download it and everything will be good after that, because it's such a handy little thing to have. Alright, so we're going to grab those guys there, fence foundation, one of the triangle pieces, and a foundation. And that pretty much should do it for a while. We're going to grab a doorway too, so we can lock it up. But this is how I start this build. You want to grab a fence foundation here, and you want to be on this side of the build too, so it's right where that rock spawns in. So you can see there we're on the south side of the entrance, and we're going to come down here and we're going to try and get this guy in as close as we can. I'm going to get the nice boob shot there, but what we're trying to do is align this guy up nice and straight, so from this side to that side. We're going to try and get this guy in there nicely there. Just want to pick our spot really carefully here. The better you line this guy up, the better it's going to be for you, because it is a bit of a trial and error. But what we want to do is go from one side to the other side nice and clean. Now I can already tell that this is going to be off a little bit, because this line in the middle here is pretty straight, and this is going nowhere near it. So we're going to delete this, and then we're going to start again. And because we got the creative menu on, we can actually just do a shift and delete. If you didn't know, that is the best way to get rid of that. So we're just going to shift and delete, and get through, and we'll try again. But that's all it's going to be, a little bit of trial and error here until we get this in right. Now I'm going between computer and controller. I just feel the controller is a little bit more comfortable here. But in saying that, the mouse is more precise, so we're going to try the mouse this shot. You can just use little turns instead of the joystick. We're going to go, that was pretty good there. We're going to go with that guy there. Now we're going to run this along that line, and as you can see, that line is looking a lot better than last time. We are not floating over that fast, so we're going to continue this. It looks like we are actually going the other way just a little bit, but it's not too much of a disaster. Let's try this and see where we go. Looks like we are a fair way off, so this is what I'm saying, it's a bit of trial and error. If you're coming in here just to claim this spot, I'll run foundations straight through the middle here. Just some foundations on each side, because you do want your workbenches over here as well. So just to claim this spot, just chuck down some foundations. You can put your actual workbenches up here. This is exactly how we started. I mean because you really do need a clan to build this guy. He's so big. Takes a lot of resources to get done. There we go there. That's where you'll have all your benches and all that stuff for now while you try and work out this guy. Now this guy is off quite a bit, I would say, like a whole foundation bit when we get to the end here. So I'm going to delete this and we're going to try again. Alright, so there we go, we've deleted everything. We have left a little bit in the middle here. What we kind of want to hit is right in the middle of these two would be pretty good. So that's what we're going to aim for, and then we're going to run it the rest of the way and see how we go. So we're going to aim this guy up again, and we're going to place it down nice and even. So we'll see what that guy does right there. Just run it down here a little bit. It is looking good. That is pretty much in the middle of these guys, as you can see there. So we've gone right on our mark, which is really nice. So I'm going to delete these guys, and we're going to try and run this one straight through. Again, if you don't know, if you're in creative mode, shift and delete helps you delete stuff a lot faster. So keep that in mind, but let's run this guy down. Now, I'm not going to do this in survival mode. A lot of people have told me, like, oh, now you're in creative, you can't do it survival and that. But really, guys, this takes weeks to do in survival mode. That's what I'm saying. You need a whole clan with you. So I am not going to spend this time, but that is really good. As you can see there, we are right on the money. So let's try and put a foundation down just in here, and we'll get a doorway and see what that doorway is like. We can walk through the doorway, so it's not too bad there. I would like this over 1, but really that will do, you guys. If you get something like this, you can work with that no problem whatsoever. But me being anal, I'm going to try and go a little bit further to the other side, which is going to be really hard to pull off, but we're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to delete this and we're going to try again. Alright, so there we go. We've got a marker here, so we want to be on this side of the marker, just by the slightest point. So from that, we're going to come back down here and we're going to move it around and try and find a good spot. It's hard to say exactly it's going to be good or not, because it's such a long way to travel. And through a long way to travel, a lot of things can change. Now you can see that is not on the right side. We want to be more on this side here. So that one's no good. We're going to delete that. And we're going to try again. This could definitely take you a few attempts, and I would probably just block this off, especially if it's a nice fresh server and you want to keep this spot. Just chuck down some foundations so people can't claim it from you. There you go, that will be enough for there. And you can put a door right here if you wanted to. But with that all blocked off, and make sure you can even block these guys off really randomly too. Each 4 corner will need to be blocked off. If you're trying to secure this place and it's a nice new server, it's definitely the route I would go. If this place isn't found by someone else, like you joined a server and this place isn't claimed, you're extremely lucky. So I'll just snap it up real fast. A solo could do this. Like, I know a lot of people who can really farm, but if you're getting attacked every 3rd day, it's not going to be the spot for a solo, that's for sure. But you could definitely defend it by yourself too once it's set up. Alright, so we've got something we can work with now. That is not too bad. We are on this side just that little bit more. Now that little bit more, when we get down to the back, is going to be a lot more. But I do want to save this marker here. So how we're going to save that, because we need to run through it as well. We're just going to do that. And then we're going to run off this guy, and that's pretty much saved that other marker. And then we're going to run through here and see how close we get when we get to the end. And just by looking at it right now, it looks like we are going really well. Again, this marker right here, I'll take this off, this line right here runs straight through the center. if you can get really close to that, like we are here, you can see right down here, there's a kind of line right next to these bricks, all right next to it. If you can get something like that, you know you're going really well, and this one's going to turn out quite nicely. So we are very straight. Like before, we were okay straight. Now we are on the money. So we're going to delete all this, and we're going to put our new wall down with our new foundation here. There we go. And you can see here we are much more centered in this guy, so we are perfect at the moment. If we put a door in there, you can see it's absolutely perfect on the sides and everything is good. So this is definitely the run we want to use. As I was saying before, it takes a little few runs, and if you just keep lining them up down here and keeping just a little bit so you can see where you're heading, it helps quite a lot. But it's very important to line this up properly. That's what this episode is going to be mainly about, is lining this guy up properly. And we're going to do a little bit of the fence stacking as well and go from one side to the other side so we know what we're working with. But first, let's just come down here. Make sure we got a doorway here. So if we can kill that guy, we can get our doors out, and we'll put the 2 doors here. There we go, and we got some gaps on the side here. You could obviously just do a door, or you could even just put, just drinking at the moment, just put a fence foundation down the bottom and then up the top there, and that kind of encloses you on that side. Now we'll do the same to this side, just so people can't get in. Remember, all your workbenches are here. I don't have to put them down, but for a basic start, just have your workbenches on the side there. You want to get them up the top in the box as soon as possible, but everything I'm doing now is definitely needed before you do that. So we'll go foundation there, and then we'll get rid of this guy, and that will get the foundation on top, and then you got the 2 doorways. And that is going to be fine for now, as long as you guys block these guys as well. And if you want to keep it all even, you can run off this bit here that you've just made. So yeah, everything's the same. It's just like that. We use a couple of ceiling pieces in the middle, but just for now, while you're starting off, that's definitely the way to go, and just do that on all 4 sides, just so you got something to secure yourself. Now that's not going to be a permanent thing. We're actually going to work on the middle bit first. So pretty much from here, we're going to have 2 to 3 gates just in the center bit here, blocking off this guy, and then we're going to fence foundation stack the sides here as well. But that's what pretty much we're going to do today, just to show you guys how to make this base in here not really secure, but the best you're going to do with sandstone when you're just starting off. So let's get into the stacking at the moment. So we're going to run down this side. No reason for this, you could pretty much do it either side, but I would say do it on one of the sides. It's going to make it just a little bit easy, because this is where you want the stacking. So I start with 2 foundations like that, and then I put my fence foundations in between here, and then you can delete this, guys. Now, I have done tutorials on fence stacking before, but I go through the different methods of fence stacking, and this one is definitely the one you guys want to learn. I know it's a little bit annoying, but it's like the most tedious one. But you can copy this stacking from one side to the other. We'll get into what copying is a bit later, but this is the only stacking that works doing that. So I highly recommend you guys just get into this, because it is just something that needs to be done, especially in this build. And it is basically just all triangles, so it's not too bad either. Then we'll put a foundation there, and we'll just make sure that we go into that guy. And we'll delete these ones. Right, so now we've done that, we want to copy from this last guy and do the triangle pieces again, and that's obviously going to come over here. And then we'll put the fence foundations in there. And then we'll delete these guys, and then we'll put some foundations in. And we'll make a new path from that. So we'll grab this guy, get rid of him. So there's a foundation, and as you can see there, we've got 2 different spots. Got this guy here and this one here, which is important, because from that guy that we just put in at the back there, we're going to run triangles off that. and that's going to come around and fit perfectly in there. There you go, pretty much just like that. And a nice foundation will finish that stacking off. So we'll get that foundation out right there. You see it lines up. And then bam. That is your template of stacking. Now that is pretty much it. That's all the stacking you're going to need to do. And the rest of it is just been copying all this. So that is all we're going to do from now on. And you might be asking, well, what is copying? So copying is, we're going to grab this guy just here, then we're going to get foundations, and we're going to run these foundations all the way from this side to the other side, just like so. And then we can just put the fence foundations in between these guys, and then just copy, rinse, and repeat. But we'll get into it so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of people get confused at this point on what I'm going on about, but because we are at the end here, we're going to put one up just so it doesn't dig into the ground so much. And then we're going to run our fence foundations just along here, just like so. Right there, I clicked in, and as you can see here, it went a bit far down. You really got to watch out for that. So we're going to take that up, and you can see there's two different snap points there. You definitely want the one that's higher. Those two different snap points are going to come into a lot of play doing this stacking, so make sure you understand where the stacking is actually landing on. Because even just for this bit, and then when we stack out the sides, we're going to need to know that quite clearly. Now we kind of missed that one, and that one needs to go there. But that is good there. So now we have that stacking done all the way through. So we're pretty much going to put all this into the middle. And I'll just split this up for you guys, but you can do both of these stackings at the same time. But the one in the middle here is what we're going to keep, and on the side here is what we're going to delete. Now I've gone too far, because really we only need to go up to here. So it's going to be stacked from here down to the door, and then the same on this side. So we'll come up to here, and we'll look around here, and we'll go here. It's just going to be overshoot, but it's going to be better than undershoot on this. And then we'll use the stacking from here, because we're going to go stacking from there all the way to the door. This is making sense to you guys, but we're doing it nice and slow, so you guys should be able to understand what's going on here. Now we're going to delete these guys here. Make sure that stacking's gone over there, which it has. And then we're going to delete the whole line that's just here. This whole line's going to go. Now you get most of your resources back with sandstone as well, so you're not really wasting too much. And also it's just so much easier copying it like this than doing it any other way. If I was doing stacking on both sides and just kept doing that triangle method to get all the way from one side to the other, it would take absolutely ages. But this way it's nice and easy, and anybody can do it too. So if you have a big clan and you've done the stacking here, all you need to tell them is to start running foundations from one side to the other. So what we've done here, we have done this guy here, so we're going to go to the next one, which is here, and then we're just going to run foundations through that. Now you only have to do this 4 or 5 times, so don't stress about that. Right, so now we're going to run from the second line, we're going to run foundations all the way down. Make sure we don't do that. We want to stay with this foundation too, because it wants to snap to the old one, but we're going to force it not to by just trying to place it in the right spot here. And again, we run this all the way to the other side. Now we have done a lot of other big builds in the past, and if you guys want to see those builds broken down like this and done over a certain amount of episodes, just let me know and we'll get straight into it. I have had requests on the ice spiral chasm, so I'm thinking about doing that one next, but let me know what you guys think. in the comments below. You can also catch me on Discord. Alright, so now we've come down like that. We're going to grab these fence foundations here. I'm going to go up here. And it looks like we have overshot on this guy. So what happened there is we copied the side piece here and not the bottom foundation. So to make sure that we got what we want here, we're going to go like so. We're going to land that straight on top of that foundation, which that doesn't look right either. So let's get rid of this one. And get rid of this guy. And try that again. It looks like it's going to have to be there. And that lines up with the other foundations a lot better. And so let's put a fence foundation here, and then we go on the other side. And we'll just rinse and repeat that on here. So remember, we're going to delete all this side I'm standing on, but the middle one we're going to keep. So we want to put those fence foundations on in the middle. Just like so. But yeah, if you have a group of 4 or 5, this gets done really fast. Just like that. And we're going to go to this guy here. And then we're going to stop because we don't need a stack on the inside here. We're going to come down here to where we're going to start the stack. And then we're just going to start putting them down again. Just like so. Nice and easy. So at this point, if you did have a group of people, you definitely want someone out farming for wood and stone. I suggest going out the back to the north side of the base. Probably the best for the wood and the stone. So we're going to run through here and we're just going to delete it. It's a little bit easier when you're in admin mode, but this can get done pretty fast too if you've got clanmates willing to delete stuff for you. Don't have to be builders, they can just be deleters. That's fine. So we get through this, then we'll go back and we'll do another one, but we only have to do 2 more, which is really handy. Like, it's not that much of a work. So I'm going to actually speed run the next 2 because I don't want to bore you guys too much with this, because I'm thinking you get the idea of what I mean of copying it right now. And that's what we're going to do for the next 2, and I'll just start it down here to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how we're going to fill in these 2 gaps. It is pretty much go to the next one up, get your foundations, run them from one side to the other side, all the way down. We're just going to go here to show you. That's going to be that guy there. And then we're going to delete all the way back down, and we're going to go to the next one just here. Then once we go on to the next one, we'll get the foundation and run it all the way down, making sure we don't do gaps like that. We want them up against each other nicely, all the way down, and then we'll just run the fence foundations through just like that. And this whole thing will be done. So yeah, let me speed run this. We're just going to run with this one because now we're here. We're going to go for it, and I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, the stacking is done exactly where we need it. Obviously, right here, we want to go a little bit further, so we can do that. We can go here, and then just put stacking there, and get rid of this guy. Come back one, and just keep going with that. And that will eventually put the stacking in its place. Get rid of that guy, get rid of this one. Foundation, stacking. Delete. Now we don't want to delete this guy without having a backup on the side there, so make sure you got backups there. And then we'll just put a foundation down with another fence and then a fence here. And you can just fill that guy back in just like that. Now these foundations underneath, you can get rid of them. You don't really need to, but you can do. But that's going to be that stacked out. And now we can go from here. We can go all the way along here. So as you can see now, we have pretty much stacked this from this side to the other side, from all the way down to where the doors are going to sit, which is right around here. So we have stacked quite a lot. Now we don't need any stacking after, say, this point here, so we're going to delete all this. Now you really want to connect. See how we've ran foundations from one side to the other side, we've connected them together. Very important. You want everything to be lined up and touching together. We are obviously going to delete all this in the middle here, but we know that one side is connected to the other side. You do not want to start stacking on one side and not copying it to the other side, because that would be disastrous in the end run. When you are trying to put your base together and put the middle bits in, you don't want a gap next to the doors. I see a lot of people who have stacked one side and then gone on the other side and stacked that, and then when they come into the middle, nothing matches up and they've just ruined the whole build. And there's usually like a gap, and not a straight gap either. There's usually like an angled gap from like where the doors start, a bit of a hole, and then that's where the main entrance is. But everything is going to be joined together in this building. And I find with just about every building, if you can join all the pieces together and have the building as one, it is a lot better for the building in the long run. You can just connect stuff everywhere you want. So that is what we're going to focus in on this building, nice and straight and everything connected together. So what we're going to do just here, we want to have doors right where I'm standing here on both sides under those big circle things. Now this is going to be the short-term protection. So there's going to be 2 doors there and a couple of gates just here. Now to achieve that, we're going to delete this guy here. Again, you don't need to delete these foundations, but I don't see any use for them, so I do get rid of them. And so we're going to stack this guy out. Now with the gateways, you want the gate to be in the middle of the doorway. So it does look offset here, but that is exactly where we're going to have the gates, right there. So to achieve that, we're going to have to come up a level here. We're going to have to delete this afterwards, this level. But we need to do this level just so we can get up here and copy this stacking up here. It's all about making this build a lot easier. So we'll go another level like that. Then we come across here. And there we go. We'll copy the stacking up. And now we don't need any of this. So all that can go just like so. Keep that nice and open for those gates. On this side we have a little bit of a gap which we can use. The gates aren't going on there, so this side is absolutely fine just to go up. And what we're going to do on this side, we're going to fill this in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. We're going to stack this just with sandstone. It doesn't need to be tier 3, not just yet anyway. So with the new update, the Xbox, the console ones are going to get it soon. Now you don't need a purge blacksmith to get access to the cheap steel reinforcements where you're just using iron reinforcements and steel fire. All you need is a nice bench, one of the nice new benches, and you can do it. And a tier 2 or tier 3 blacksmith. You don't need no purge blacksmith for that anymore. That has all changed. So it's a lot cheaper to start getting your steel reinforcements, which is really nice. What we're going to do here, well, what looks like we're going to do is jump down, come to this section here, and we're just going to fill that in just there. Now come to the side here, there's no gap up there, so that stack is done. Over this side you can see there is a gap there. So we're going to work on that just here. So we're going to come up here just a little bit so we can start copying this up. Just there is fine. Just like so. And come over here. And put that guy down there just like that. And then we're going to go all the way up. We are pretty much done with that side just there. Nice. And now we need to come over on this guy. So we're going to get out of the way, and then we're going to stack this guy nice and long there. Now remember, there is 2 snap points to this as well. I'll take this off and go in so you can see what's happening. Those 2 snap points is one at the bottom, one at the top. Just try and find what you guys are using and use that constantly. So right now we're using the bottom one, so we're going to be using that a lot. Alright, so get this stacking done here. We'll try and come up here. A bit tight. She's not happy about it. But we'll get her up there. There we go there. And we're going to go along that guy just there. Now we're going to fill this one in as well. Now what you can do is just make a ceiling piece there. It makes it a lot easier to crawl on. Just scaffold in and then come right across with that guy there. And now that one should give us enough to come over here. Just going to put our scaffold in there as well, so we can actually see it through this rock. And now we've just copied that stacking straight through that side. And we're going to jump up here, and we can continue that stacking as well if we really want to. Just do it right there. And then we're going to come up here, go across like that, jump up top, and then we'll finish this guy off just here. So just like that, we'll stack this little spot that's on the side here that is quite hard to actually stack, but because we've taken the stack that we've already had and we'll just come up here, we can just follow it straight through, no problems whatsoever. Now if we have a look at this one, I placed that one too high, so we're going to come in here, delete that, make sure it's down, and continue the stacking. That one popped up too. When it pops up, just grab it and put it back down. You just really want everything to match up properly. Put this guy up there. You might not think it matters too much, but when you're defending this place and they've blown through each side, having all this stacked on the right angle like this allows you to come through and just slam these fence foundations down as fast as you can, so they can't keep bombing their way in. If you do it right, it will be an absolute pain in the ass to actually raid this place, because all you're doing is chucking down fence foundations, which are really cheap. Doesn't cost you anything at all really once you've built up. Alright, so there we go. There, we'll delete this guy because we don't need that anymore. Grab the wall on the way down. Make sure this little hole here is taken care of, because we can see from one side to the other, which is not good. So we're just going to take care of that now and just put our stacking in there, and then same along here all the way. Nicely done there. And then we're going to come on this side and make sure that is done properly here, which it looks like we just need one more piece just there. And so that is done. That is pretty much it. Now we want to grab the new building pieces here. This is tier 1 stuff, and this has actually got the gate frames in here. So we're going to grab one of those gate frames, and we're going to use tier 1's gate frames to actually build this guy in. Consoles will be getting this very shortly, I believe at the end of the week, so you guys should be able to play around with these new building pieces as well. But there you go, there's a tier 1 building pieces in. We could probably fit another one in there. Just need to play around with it, and there she is there. So there we go, we got our doors in. Nice position there. And I'm just going to have a look here and see if we can drop this, because it looks like it's gone up, but I'm not too sure with this door design. Yeah, it definitely went up. So all these are up, so that is no good. We want to delete all of them, because these gates have 2 snap points as well, one down and one up. And it's kind of hard sometimes because you've got to look up most of the time to put these gates in like so. But you should be able to get them in with them all down. So just fiddle around with it just a little bit more. And now you got one in the right spot. You can see the rope down the bottom there is not lining up. That one lines up, and then I was over here and that one doesn't. Now it does. So just watch out for that rope or any pattern on the door in saying that, and you can kind of look up and see where the pattern is. That needs to go down. So we're going to come down and hopefully it snaps to it. But yeah, The doors can be a bit tricky, just get them down low, but you want them down low. There we go, we're sitting in a good spot. And everything just snapped into spot there. So now we're going to do that to this other side. But as you can see here, we're going to grab the doors. So let's grab tier 1 gate doors, which are right there. And we'll put these guys in. But just from that in itself, this whole section in here, or from this side, is completely covered with at least 5 stacking. So it is sandstone, but it is stacked. If you're just starting a server, you're going to have a strong base there. Everyone else is going to have sandstone, a couple of doors. You're going to have about 6 doors each side, including those 2 on the main gate. So that is a pretty good start, and you should be able to do this with just a little bit of farming from your clan mates. Get the sandstone down so you can start getting ready for the main base. What we're going to do on this side is pretty much the same thing. There is a bigger gap on this side, I believe. No, it's a smaller gap. The bigger gap was on that side there. So this one should be easier. But it is pretty much the same routine. So I'm going to do a speed run on this guy. But first off, we're just going to line this one up. So we're pretty much going to use that right there. Now remember what I said, the gates want to be in the center of this doorway. So on this side, it's going to have to be built up and then deleted, but this side is absolutely fine just to put stuff in like so and then build it up just like that. So that side's fine, and this side needs to be built up and deleted just like the other side. So what I mean by that, just reinforce it for you guys, is built up like this. And come back over here. Moved over here and then deleted. Just like that. And then delete these 2. Because that is where we're putting the gate. So that's our 3 gap for the gate. 1, 2, and 3. That's perfect for the gate, and now each side is lined up perfectly. So let me finish this and we'll come right back, but this one should be nice and short and sweet. I might come back just to show you how I fill up that gap up there. Alright, so we're at that little gap that we need to put in here. So if we come up here, so from here it's going to be hard to place the fence foundations in that solid brick that's just right next to me. But if we can put some down over here, I'll get like a little platform I might be able to stand on here. So if we can get them in here nice and flat, we'll have a better chance of randomly placing them, and it is going to be a bit of a random place. As you can see there, we're getting them down nicely there. Alright, so then that's done. So now from up here, we can come up the top here. Just make sure I've done the other side as well. Might get down there just to check. Doesn't look like we have done that side properly, so let's get up here. We just need 1 more in, so that's not too bad. We'll get rid of that and we'll put that 1 more in, rest there. Now we can definitely put that guy in and guarantee that's going to be right. But the ones in the middle are definitely going to be a bit of a guessing game here. So let's get this guy in there. So there's 3 in the middle here. So then, now you can see from there, I actually got that wrong. There's 1 up and then 1 down. But that's what the guessing game is going to be about. So we're going to try and get this guy in. Just like so. Now let's see what we have achieved up here. It'll give us kind of a view of what we got here. Now let's try just to get this in. So now that one's going to be a little bit higher there. and they're going to be right. So one stuff up we did do is just that one there, but that is not too bad, guys. Like, I would accept that. Now, you probably cannot go back in there and delete that. It's probably going to be embedded in there, and that is pretty much it. But that is not bad. One sticking up out of all those is pretty good. So we're going to go with that. And then we're going to finish this guy off just here. And we're going to come just here and put that guy in as well. See, it doesn't really affect it at all. Just here, it's just if you're coming in here on raid time and you want to smash them down a little bit faster, it might just trip out a bit and you have to put it up a little bit higher. That is pretty much all secure on that side as well now. So now we've got both sides done. We're just going to go up here. We're just going to finish this one off. And we'll just come along and finish that guy off. Two of them right there just went up. So I'm going to use this climb up here. There you go. There's the two that rose. So we're going to get rid of those guys and put them back down. Coming to the level of it usually helps, which it did in that case as well. So I'm going to come up here. Temporary one, just some scaffolding, and then we're going to put them in here. Now that is nice and secure right there. We are pretty much good with that. So we're going to delete these guys. We don't need them anymore. And then we're going to put the doorways just here. Make sure they're nice and flush with the floor once again. Don't think we needed that one, but that's in anyway. There is a little flash for where it needs to be. That's why it's good to have the mouse. Sometimes you can get these flashes a little bit easier than using the joysticks. But there we go. As long as it wants to go in, we're going to let it. And then we just need that guy in the middle. You're going to let us have it. I want it. And we're in there, but we're too high. That was off the ground. Those ropes were not lining up, just like these guys are here. This one is just an oddball. It wasn't meant to go in like that. But we want to get this guy in. The ropes are too high there, as you can see. We need to be looking down and try and get it into that spot. Right there, the ropes on the side. On the right hand side, you can see the ropes line up nicely, so that's going to fit perfectly in there. Then we'll just get the doors again and we'll go down. And there we go. Both sides are nice and secure. So now we can start building the box up the top, because the box is going to be the second thing I would work on. Yes, this is all sandstone. It will crumble really fast. But I just wanted to show you guys how I set this up in a server. It is a slow process, but it gets the job done properly. And if you're starting a new server, trust me, everyone's going to have sandstone, and they're not going to be as built as this guy here. You should be able to do this with 3 or 4 people within the day. As soon as you find the place, you should be able to build up something like this pretty fast. Well, that's with my team anyway. We get the job done pretty fast. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be more to come, so make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for the next videos of this guy. And we're going to go through this nice and slowly for you, so everyone can build the most OP base they can possibly do. But other than that, I'm ZfreeZone, and I'll catch you guys later.